Warning, there is a sex scene in this chapter. As I walked down my usual dirt path towards the city, I paused and smelled the air. It was going to rain tonight, and I was thrilled. One of the flowers I needed for the cure I was working on only bloomed in the rain. After taking another deep breath of the amazing rainy scent, I continued on my way, and just as I reached the gates of a city, I pulled up my mask, hiding my face. "Morning, Lyra." Andrew, a very handsome guard, greeted me as he did every morning. He'd always been one of the few guards who treated me kindly, and not like some dirty, filthy rogue. "Andrew Bell. How are you both?" "Good," Bell answered as she stepped forward, while other pack members, pushing carts and holding baskets, started filing in and out of the city, going about their daily tasks. "Please tell me you have some honeysuckle." I smiled and pulled out a small package from my bag and handed it over. "Ah!" Belle squealed in delight as she pulled out 2 bronze coins and handed them to me. "You're the best." "You're welcome," I smiled and continued through the gates to the city. The cobblestone streets in the city were abuzz with activity, much like every morning. Vendors hawking their wares, forged weapons and colorful woven blankets. Bakers selling fresh bread, honeyed cakes, toasted nuts, and sweet spices. Guards walking around maintaining the peace. Children running amok, weaving through the crowd, and getting angry stares and shouts from the older pack members. I pushed through the crowd, most of whom were glaring at me. Rogues weren't allowed, but luckily, I had a medallion from Prince Tyson that allowed me inside, so they couldn't do anything about my presence. I smiled when I thought about Tyson. We'd been dating in secret for years. We didn't know if we were mates until I was 21 in 2 years, but my Lycan penny and I hoped he would be, though I knew I'd have to reject him. I couldn't let his father know I was the one he was looking for. King Carice had destroyed my pack looking for me when I was only 8, and only a few of us had survived. "Carice wouldn't even recognize us now," Penny argued, as the thought sprang up in my mind, while I walked up the stone steps to the healer's training manor where I was enrolled as a medical student. "We don't even know he's our mate yet. Let's just worry about it later." "What if his brother is our mate too?" I paused for a moment. His brother Chase was extremely attractive too, but he had taken a chosen because he was tired of waiting for him mate. His chosen was a beta named Paige from a powerful family, and they were in the process of organizing their wedding. The entire pack was thrilled and gossiping about the celebration. I'd never liked Paige. We'd met once, and from that moment on, I knew she'd be a terrible Luna. Luckily, Tyson was the elder of the 2 brothers, and if they weren't sharing one mate, then Tyson's mate would be Queen and not Paige. A fact I'm sure she hated, because she flirted with Tyson often, and he would always complain to me about it. "Then we'll just reject him." I shrugged and walked inside. Chase was nice enough, but he always seemed so materialistic to me, prioritizing beauty and power over other traits, just like his monster of a father. I walked through the lobby of the manor, where the air hung thick with the scent of lavender from today flower assortments and Connor's awful cologne. "Rogue," Connor called out, in his usual D**CK greeting, as I passed him in the reception area. A few students began to walk faster, but I just flipped him off before walking towards my first class. "You're lucky you have that medallion." He shouted angrily after me, but I ignored him. Connor was the youngest son of the head beta, and didn't think I deserved my place here, and hated that I was better than him in our classes, but it wasn't like he actually tried. I often thought he was only here because his father demanded he make something of himself and to stop embarrassing the family. I took my usual spot at the back of the class, avoiding the annoyed and slightly disgusted stares from my classmates, but luckily, Dr. Eris came in and began to write on the blackboards, so everyone began to focus on him and not me. "Okay, keep it down," he called out, unnecessarily, as we'd already fallen silent. "Let's begin." 3 hours later, the tired class filed out, complaining about the workload Dr. Eris gave us, but I waited and started leaving after everyone else. "Dr. Eris, can I get you to go over my latest cure idea?" "Of course, my dear," he said eagerly, and I quickly passed over the paper I'd written it down on, and sat back down while he looked it over. Dr. Eris was a whirlwind of energy and always made me feel encouraged during my classes. He began to pace the room, his brow furrowed in concentration as he read the latest cure. He was moving his lips in time with the speed at which he read, Then he'd shake his head, scribbled notes on my scroll, his pen scratching across the parchment. Then he'd begin reading again. We were close. Ever since Tyson convinced me to train as a healer, a dream I'd always had, I would often come to Dr. Eris for help with cures and positions I'd work on. It helped that his mother was a witch, and he knew better than me how specific herbs would interact together. We had a shared goal, finding a cure for a strange, creeping illness plaguing the land. Several pack members were getting sick. Their bodies would begin to shift, and our Lycan's fur would cover our skin. Then it would fester, poison the blood of those inflicted, and then they die. The whole process would last 2 weeks, and no one knew where this strange disease came from, or how to cure it, though there was talk in the city that witches were involved. Personally, I hoped the king would get infected. I hated him. He had destroyed my pack when I was 8 years old in order to find me, and I ended up living as a rouge. Because of my mother, I'd ended up on the outskirts of the king's city. This is good, Lyra, he praised me. But these two herbs counter each other out. We need to find alternatives and dash. The classroom door burst open, and I found myself blushing slightly when I saw Tyson. He was dressed in all black, and his thick black hair was slightly damp, as if he'd just jumped out of the shower, and his dark gray eyes locked with mine for a moment, before I quickly looked down. Prince Tyson, hello. Dr. Eris straightened up. I often noticed men in the pack attempting to make themselves bigger around Tyson and his brother, but they didn't seem to notice it. Eris. Lyra. Hello, Your Majesty. I stood up and bowed, and he smirked. He knew I hated this, but I had to keep up appearances for the pack. Even a rogue had to bow to the royal family within the confines of the city. I glared at him and quickly sat back down. He'd pay for that smirk. I would like you to look over this drug, he said, and passed Dr. Eris a piece of paper. My personal healer has recommended it for a silver injury. Do you think this will work? Eris took the paper, and much like he did with mine, he started pacing as he read. It was as if he hated sitting still. You look so good today, Tyson whispered in my ear as he leaned next to me. I could just eat you up. Go away. I mouthed and shoved him back. Don't speak to your alpha like that. You're not my alpha. I'm a rogue, remember. My rogue, he winked. Let me see you this evening. It's been 4 days since you've let me touch you. No, I'm busy tonight. It's going to rain, and I have to harvest some of the flowers. Tyson's eyes darkened with anger. You're always harvesting flowers. I miss you, he added, but quickly stood up straight as Dr. Eris turned back to us, before looking down at the list again. Yes, I should be able to get all of this for you, he nodded. No need to trouble yourself, Doctor, Tyson told him, as he looked down at me again. Lyra can gather the items I require. I wanted to hit him. He'd done this on purpose. Very good, Your Majesty, he said as he passed me the paper. I will see you for your lesson tomorrow afternoon, Lyra, and we can finish our discussion on your cure. Cure? Are you sick? Tyson asked instantly and looked me over. No, I shook my head. I will explain on the way to the stall. I gathered my belongings and we left the classroom. Tyson stood close to me, our hands inches from each other. The longing to bridge the gap and hold his hand was hard to ignore, so I moved my hand into the pocket of my dress and explained about my cure idea. We passed several students and a few of the teachers and doctors, who all bowed to Tyson, and some of the women blushed and smiled at him, but he just looked away from them. When we walked down the hallway and stopped outside the door of the stall, Tyson looked over his shoulder at the guard who'd been silently following us. No one comes in, he ordered, and I quickly went inside, blushing. As Tyson closed the door, I turned on the light and placed my books down on the bench. We should be able to carry everything in one of the baskets, but dash. Tyson grabbed me and pulled me in, kissing me passionately. Ty, stop. I giggled and pushed his face back. What are you doing? We're getting ingredients. I don't need the damn potion. He laughed and moved my hand off his face. I was here for a meeting with the admin and smelt your scent, so I made up an excuse to get you to myself. Now, he said as he began to pull up my dress. Let me fuck you. We don't have much time. I blushed and stepped back. Stop it. I stepped away. We can't make love in here. We'll contaminate things. Firstly, no one said anything about making love. I want to fuck you, he told me, with a smirk I frowned at. Secondly, Everything's in containers, now come on. He pouted now. It's been days. I rolled my eyes and walked towards the door. So go screw one of your other women. Tyson growled, grabbed me around my waist and pressed his mouth to my neck, pinning me between him and the door. I was still facing. I do not fuck other women. Only you, and you know it. I love you, Lyra. He began kissing my throat, leaving tingling all down my spine. Is there a privacy spell on this room? Who cares? He said as he spun me around and began pulling my dress up again. We have to be quick, I told him as I began undoing his pants. I have to work. He didn't respond, and he just started kissing me again up against the door. Ty! I moaned as his fingers moved into my underwear. The man was so good at touching me. I often found it hard to believe that he'd only ever slept with me. Surely he was lying. I in turn moved my hand inside his pants and gripped hold of his thick penis and started to stroke him while we kissed. I loved touching him. I loved him touching me, and the exciting tingling in the pit of my stomach whenever we made love was so thrilling, and I couldn't get enough. I guess Tyson felt the same, because he pulled my hand back, lifted me up against the wall, and slowly entered me. I moaned and wound my arms around his neck, pulling him in closer to start kissing him again, while we both began to move. Tyson sped up his movement, thrusting into me quicker and harder as he claimed me. As the friction and pleasure grew, when I felt the familiar tightening of my body, I leaned closer and pressed my face into his throat, while Ty held me tight. We continued to move together until we both moaned happily as we both come. He held me for a little longer, just kissing me. I love you, he whispered into my ear and kissed my shoulder as he pulled out. Yeah, I'm sure you say that to all the girls. I smirked as I pulled my underwear in place. He was so messy, I really needed to go home and bathe. Why do you do that? He asked, angrily, as he did up his pants. What? You always find ways to distance us. He answered, his tone annoyed. It's like you're always preparing yourself to leave me again, but I'm not letting you go. I know we're going to be mates. I glared at him. I'd left him before, after my mother killed herself when I was 15, but he'd won me back. Mates or not, we can't be together publicly while your father's alive, and you know it, I pointed out. So just. Tyson growled and pinned me to the door, with his hands on either side of my face. You are mine, he said firmly. I love you, and I won't let my father hurt you. When you come of age, and we're mates, I'll mark you. And then what? I asked, as I pushed him back. Will you kill your own father when he tries to tie me down and kill me for my power? We might not have to kill him, he said and looked down. He's sick. Sick how? We think he's got this virus or curse or whatever it is. Oh, was all I could say. It was an odd feeling, caring about Tyson's pain, but not caring that his piece of shit father could die. Would you be willing to help him? Excuse me. You can heal and dash. And nothing. I shoved him away from me. I can't believe you're even asking me to save that monster. I screamed and shoved Tyson again. He killed my family. My pack. Okay, I know. I understand, I'm sorry. He ran his fingers through his hair. I know the kind of man he is. I hate him too, but I love him. He's my father. I'm sorry, but I would never help him. In fact, I hope he dies. I admitted, and Tyson looked at me with a shocked expression. I could even give you something to help things along. Help things along? He questioned. This sickness is painful. I have a drug that could kill him painlessly. This conversation is over. He snapped. If anyone else heard you talking like this, you'd be imprisoned. I'd never kill him myself. I barked angrily. But if you don't want him to suffer, this could be the best thing for him. I won't kill my own father. My king. You'll be a far better king than he ever was, and you know it, I pointed out. And this idiotic idea about me healing him. How did you think that would go? If I heal him, then he'll know I'm the one he's been looking for all these years, and he'll kill me. You think I should sacrifice my life for a B** star that would kill me the first second he was strong enough to? I know, he exhaled. I shouldn't ask you to do this. I know what he's done to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. I told him, I hate that you're in pain. I love you, but I won't do this for you. Not ever. You don't have to apologize, he hugged me. I wish I could take your pain away. I hate seeing you like this, but I just can't. I held him until he'd calmed down, before I leaned back. I should go before someone needs to get in the stall, I said, before I picked up my belongings, but just as I reached for the door handles, he grabbed my wrist. I'm sorry I asked that of you, he said softly and looked down for a moment. Are we okay? Of course, I answered, kissed his cheek, and rushed out of the room, avoiding the guard's cheeky smirk.